Kitchener, Waterloo, who's going to vote for a change?
People that are voting Conservative, they've honestly just been in Canada for much longer.
Okay, then.
And so they've seen, standards of living change over the last 10 years, and they've seen the standards of living dropping so much. I remember how Canada was when I was growing up, and it's changed so much.
Yeah.
And I never actually got a chance to experience it before last 10 years.
People will charge me as being elitist or, a globalist, to use that term, which is, that's exactly, it happens to be exactly what we need.
We don't need any of that. We need down-to-earth politics.
If this doesn't work, we're moving to Alberta.
We have just walked for over 3 miles to get here.
3 miles? Wow.
So I'm telling you, there's something going on here tonight.
April 28th night, so no more polls, and Pierre is the next Prime Minister with supermajority. We are going to celebrate it.
David Menzies for Rebel News here in Woolwich, Ontario. And folks, we're at another Pierre Poilievre rally. And as you can see, look at the venue. It's literally an aircraft hangar. And I'm pretty sure with the rate people are coming right now, this is going to be another SRO, sold right out, standing room only affair. And as we've seen at every rally, the unlucky latecomers, they get locked out, not because the Pierre Poilievre team are mean, it's just that they can't exceed the fire code. In any event, let's go see what's bringing these people out. In what is, I have to tell you folks, miserable weather. This is the second week of April. It feels like February. Snow is coming down, but the diehard Pierre Poilievre Conservative supporters, they are not being daunted by a bit of bad weather. So let's check out what they have to say today.
Kitchener, Waterloo, who's going to vote for a change?
Boomers for Poilievre. Hey, there you go. What's bringing you guys out to this Pierre Poilievre rally?
I want to see, hopefully he gets elected, and he said it looks like a great person, and lots of interest.
I just thought it'd be interesting to see, and I supported it, and it's just cool to see.
Show support.
Okay, then.
And make sure that he wins. Do everything in our power to make sure he wins. No more liberals.
Change. We need change badly.
I come here just want to see what he said today, and according to what I saw on the news, I just want to see the reality.
This is like a celebration. Finally, we are going to find some light for Canada.
Just to hear everything again over. I've been watching all his rallies, so this is like amazing.
It is amazing. This looks like an aircraft hangar as far as I can see, and it looks like it's going to be jam-packed.
Yeah.
Anything to defeat the Liberals.
Okay, then.
It's an immediate defeat. We can't do anything else, fool around. It has to happen now.
We need to make Canada great again.
Wow.
Right? I don't know. You're probably not going to hear that to Canada, and if it doesn't help Pierre, don't do it. But we need to make Canada great again.
Yep. There's no party that I'd rather support in this election. Okay. I ran provincially as a Libertarian. My name's James Schultz for the Waterloo riding. I believe that Pierre is more of a small L Libertarian. There's small L Libertarians in the Liberal and the Conservative Party.
Okay.
And less government is going to be the ultimate solution.
Okay.
We want Pierre Poilievre to stop the World Economic Forum. We don't want to be a one world economy.
It's funny because his competitor, he brags about being an elitist and a globalist, and he says that's what Canada needs.
My strength is I know how the world works. I know how to get things done. I'm connected. I can deliver for the country. And my weakness is, people will charge me as being elitist or, a globalist, to use that term, which is, that's exactly, it happens to be exactly what we need.
We don't need any of that. We need down-to-earth politics.
You'll campaign in a coming federal election, most likely within the next 120 days, and are serving as Prime Minister now, with Canadians not being aware of what potential conflicts of interest you sought to avoid.
What possible conflict would you have, Stephanie? Stephanie, I'm complying with the rules. I'm complying with the rules in advance. Point final.
Are you saying you are not open to any conflict of interest?
Yes.
You said most of his time life in the private sector. There's no possible conflict of interest in your assets. It's very difficult to believe.
Look inside yourself, Rosemary.
What does your shirt say?
It says Women for Pierre Poilievre for Prime Minister.
Fantastic. And as a woman, why are you supporting Mr. Poilievre for Prime Minister?
because I just believe in all his policies and what he's saying.
You know, one thing we see time and time again, earlier today in Hamilton, we were at a Mark Carney rally, and the demographics are very noticeably different. Much older crowd at a Carney rally, far more young people here. Why do you think that is?
I honestly think that people that are voting Conservative, they've honestly just been in Canada for much longer.
Okay, then.
And so they've seen, standards of living change over the last 10 years, and they've seen the standards of living dropping so much.
His supporters, they also use the C word, change. It's a change in leadership, I grant you that, but the rest of the Liberal Party, it's the same, the policies are the same.
We have the same economic issues. Our children cannot afford to buy homes. They cannot afford to live here. So whether it's Mark Carney or Mickey Mouse, things need to change.
And sir, I guess the question with any election, are you better off today than you were 10 years ago?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No.
I don't think anyone is. I mean,
If this doesn't work, we're moving to Alberta.
I remember how Canada was when I was growing up, and it's changed so much.
Yeah.
And I never actually got a chance to experience it before last 10 years.
No. Okay. We all know that. Do you know anyone that is?
No, not really. If you take a look at whether it's LNG on the ports, if you look at immigration, if you look at rare minerals, if you look at our healthcare system, anything. But the biggest thing is how much money they've funneled out of the country.
Yes.
And I mean, we can take a look at, for example, when Christina Freeland says she's going to build 4 million homes by 2031, that equates to one house every minute. That's impossible. I'm in the industry. I know it can't be done.
Wow. Why do you think people believe these empty promises?
We are making because they're not that bright, that's why.
I think the Liberals have been in charge long enough.
Okay.
And for a young man like myself, I can't afford to buy a house, and I think Poilievre is in the right track to do so.
We were at a Poilievre presser earlier today too, and he noted that typically in this country it used to take 25 years to pay off a mortgage. Yes. Now it takes people 29 years to save up enough for a down payment.
Yes, which you will never pay because it's amortized over 90 years?
Yeah.
So
Unbelievable.
we just want to work hard and be able to live a good life and be happy. And that's not happening right now. And it hasn't been happening for 10 years.
I say we need to change big time. We need to get the Liberals out immediately. It's awful what they've done to Canada. Immigration is way out of control. There's so many things way out of control right here. We need things for the seniors. Pierre's going to bring things for us, a change like we've never seen before. And that's what we need today. And we need to get Mark Carney out because he's not to be trusted.
I'm selling my home because I can't afford. The taxes went up, all kinds of things went up. My beautiful home on the French River.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I know all about the homeless and the what did they call that drug thing they did? EB's got going out in BC, the safe
injection.
Safe injection.
Okay.
My son's fentanyl, heroin, methadone survivor, and he says what they're putting in that is not. It's got nothing to do with methadone and heroin. It's like some pretty crazy stuff.
I'm happy to hear that your son has recovered. We've lost so many people to fentanyl. Pierre Poilievre a few days ago said that if you're caught trafficking a certain amount of fentanyl, I think it's 48 milligrams, you will get a life sentence. Do you agree with that?
I don't like criminal activity. If it means that they're selling hardcore drugs, then yes, they need to serve for sure. But what needs to happen is we need a lot of support for these people that are recovering.
Yeah.
Because that's part of the reason why they end up going back out on the streets and redoing it again is because they don't have the support.
What binds us together is the Canadian promise that hard work gets you a great life in a beautiful, affordable home on a safe street, protected by brave troops under a proud flag. For a change, Canada first, let's bring it home!
The polls indicate that the Liberals are in the lead, whereas 3 months ago, it looked like a Conservative landslide. Do you believe the polls?
I don't believe the polls. I believe what I'm seeing right here.
I don't believe the polls. I think that Pierre is just killing it here. And I think once you see this, we have just walked for over 3 miles to get here.
3 miles?
Wow. So I'm telling you, there's something going on here tonight.
Well, it's obstruction from the left. Nothing more.
I take polls with a grain of salt. You know, like you don't get all the details. We don't know who they're polling. So you have to discern from a variety of pieces of information.
I don't. Not necessarily, but who's to say? I think he got it. I think he has it, and I think he'll come back.
April 28th night. So no more polls, and Pierre is the next prime minister with super majority. We are going to celebrate it.
We do not believe the polls on any level. I don't know what's going on.
They don't want to happen what's going to happen is change of government, so they're going to do everything, hide signs, polls. I can't believe them anymore. I heard you say manipulation. You know, I always thought if you're a pollster, you want to get it right. You know, you want to be as accurate as possible, but do you think there's some shenanigans going on behind the scenes?
100%, yeah. If you mess with people's heads, you may get the result. There's people that are pulling signs, city officials that are pulling conservative signs off lawns, and it's being
we've heard of that
taped on people's home cameras.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry.
What do you make of that pettiness?
It's pathetic.
Look at the line. Look at the line here. This is Kitchener, which is traditionally a Liberal zone. Look at it.
You know, that's true. This is a heavy Liberal territory. So what's going on? What you know, wouldn't you think a pollster wants to be accurate, or there's some kind of shenanigans going on behind the scenes?
They're trying to influence people to say, well, the Liberals are going to have a majority, and therefore no need for us to go and vote for the Conservatives, right? Because it's a foregone conclusion, and therefore they're trying to I think convince people that it's over.
So the pollsters are kind of acting like the mainstream media.
Well, that sounds about right. What a surprise, right?
We know they're lies.
Polls. They're lost with the polls.
They're not accurate
I was just telling you earlier, I was listening to a radio station, a gentleman in Nova Scotia was saying the polls were always pointing Liberal and they got trashed the last 3 big elections.
Oh, is that right?
Because who are you calling when you're making those phone calls? The older retired people who are home or the younger people who are at work not answering their phones?
But it's about listening and watching independent newscasters like you, and not to mention others, but like the Pleb and Moose and Jasmine and all these people that are independent news journalists like you guys. That's who people need to listen to.
Well, folks, this is really incredible. It is now an hour past the official start time of the Pierre Poilievre rally, and they haven't even begun. And it's not because Team Poilievre is tardy, it's just because they are trying to accommodate as many people into this aircraft hangar as possible. And I can tell you, I'm looking out this open door, and it is seemingly an endless line of people still filtering in an hour after this event was supposed to begin. And I'll tell you, it's not as though they're tardy either. There's really nowhere to park. People are walking as far as 5 kilometers away in really awful April weather. And so we don't know exactly when the show is going to begin, but I can tell you, even for an aircraft hangar, there's only a certain capacity. Like other Pierre Poilievre rallies, I wouldn't be surprised if due to the fire code, they have to close the doors, leaving dozens of people out of luck. But that's the way it goes. And I guess you can't really make a connection between rally attendance and electoral success. But when I see this happening time after time after time again all over Canada, to me, this is far more of an indicator of where the Conservatives are going, as opposed to all those polls, which personally I'm taking with a shovelful of salt. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, unlike the mainstream media, we do not get a nickel of Mark Carney's journalism slush fund, nor would we receive such taxpayer-funded welfare if asked. But here's where you come in. Can you go to campaign2025.com? That's campaign2025.com. And if you're able to, kindly make a donation so that Rebel News can continue to bring you the other side of the story.